My guy, Warren, how you living, man?
I'm living, dude. I love
Living.
that. That reminds me of Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
Lavin, man. That's that.
Lavin. That's
Yeah, yeah.
right. That's what I like about high school girls, baby. You already know.
Uh,
No, I'm a married man. I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Um,
me too.
so bro, yeah, come on. Which is a good segue into, first of all, bro, I seen you in so many different verticals on LinkedIn. I've kind of chalked you up to being like the ultimate hype man. Like I've obviously never met you before, and we've already had countless kind of exchanges. Um, where the heck did you come from? Like, where did you start to harness that type of like, dude, you're so inspiring. I wrote down a quote. I said, your content is right on the motivational money. Like anything that you're pushing out, I just feel motivated and inspired. Like, how the hell did that start with you?
Well, first, thank you. I love that. I think it's funny. I've been on the platform for, years, like a lot of us, and like a lot of us, I spent years just kind of lurking. I looked at
Yeah.
LinkedIn as like, oh man, celebrate my job, my new job posting or like my promotion, which is really cool, but I just never really looked at it like that. And I don't really know what happened to shift, but it happened a few months ago. And I posted something. I think I posted something maybe in January, like once, and
Uh-huh.
then something happened. I almost wish I could remember the moment so that I could go back and kind of figure out what did
This
happen. But
was
I
the
just
catalyst,
yeah,
man.
like I just decided, I think I decided to post one day, and after that day, I was just like, let's see if you can just show up here every day, start posting. And I think some of it comes from too, just like you see really cool people like yourself and other people out there doing cool stuff, putting cool stuff out there, and you're like, why can't I just start doing that too? But for years, I kind of chalked myself up as like, oh, you should just like kind of hang back and like stay in your little box, like you'd be better there, which is not true at all. You should put yourself out there. And so that's kind of where it started in the hype stuff. I mean, honestly, I get more from it than the people that I hype up. I mean,
Hands down.
it just really fills me up. And so it's almost something for me just to, like it just makes me feel good to see people out there crushing it. And, you get to be a small little part of their journey.
Yeah, man, that's so fire, dude. Obviously, like your content is on point. I see you in so many different circles of people. Like I said, like I saw you. Are you connected? Well, obviously you're connected. I think his name Devin McKee. Is that the guy? He's like
Darren
Darren,
McKee.
Darren McKee. I've been following him for a while. He's obviously like a LinkedIn coach, kind of killer. Not so much in the sales world, but just like really kind of harvesting that, yo, man, like you could be whoever you want. And so that it kind of drove me to coining you as like, dude, you're the ultimate hype man. And I just love it, dude. It's so fire.
Dude, yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I love Darren. Shout out to Darren. He's awesome. I mean, he really what he does is like I mean, he really like changes people's lives. Like really, he like you sign up for his stuff and he'll take you through LinkedIn like you've never seen it. And I just finished his cohort actually in March. Like
Sick. Okay, that's what I saw today. Yeah.
we just wrapped it up, and like he just and I mean I think the coolest thing about him is he's obviously very well known, but he's just such a at his core, he's just such an awesome human being, and
Yeah.
he's like super helpful, and he's just like a nice, he's just a nice guy, and it's refreshing to see because some of these bigger people out here, I mean, maybe they're not all quite like that, which
I
is
feel
fine
you.
too. I mean, to each
Yeah,
their own,
yeah.
but like for me, I always, some extra respect for the ones who are bigger and they still kind of take the time to, you know,
Yeah, like you're
like help
still a
you out.
human being, man. Like you're a good
Yeah.
person. He's mighty genuine. His content is really on that peg of motivation as well. And so, dude, I super dig that.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
I was stalking your LinkedIn earlier, and a couple months ago, you had made a post with respect to highlighting the little wins and like highlighting the mini breakthroughs and feeling like some of those tiny things don't get enough appreciation. And it kind of adds into why I coined you as like, dude, you're the motivational money speaker. And so how do you feel like, whether it was your upbringing, whether it was things you went through in work, like how do you think that that molded your kind of outlet or outset rather on, just like really being appreciative and taking those little wins and harnessing them to grow into like massive achievements? What do you think that's about?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, one thing I like to say all the time, I put it out there all the time, is like slow motion, no motion. And
Yeah.
so the slow motion, with the greater sign to the slow. And I mean, that's really just about the majority of our lives is going to be those small little things. It's not like people's lives are made up of like, oh, I had, massive win after massive win. And, I went from like 0 followers to like 10,000 in like a day. Like, it just doesn't happen. It's just the majority of our life are those little tiny wins, little tiny moments, but, they add up over time. And so I think, we should really dig in and embrace those things. I mean, I am guilty of this too. I'll sit back and be like, oh, not quick enough, need the hacks, need the shortcuts. But then I just remind myself, slow motion, no motion. Like if you're moving, if even if it's slow, even if you're crawling, you're still making some sort of progress. And that's still better than no motion. No motion is stagnation, no motion is death. I mean, and that's where I sat for like a long time, just on the sidelines of kind of like, maybe you have ideas, maybe you want to do things, but you're not moving, you're not trying to do them. And so I sat like that just for a long time. And just recently, like you said, when I started kind of putting myself out there, it's just kind of like a transformation internally that happened with me. And it's great. I mean, I'm loving the new version of myself. I mean, even today I
I'm
was
loving the new
yeah, man,
version of, are
thank
you
you.
kidding me,
Thank
dude?
thank
Get
you,
out of
brother.
here,
Hey,
bro.
even today I thought about something and I was like, some things that I'm doing now that my old self, wouldn't have done, whether it was like, oh, like, that's probably not something you could do. And, just
Yeah,
self-doubt,
yeah.
talking yourself out of it. So yeah,
No, for sure. There's like no substitute or alternative to consistency. And I think that with your genuine approach, your consistency and just keeping at it, like that's honestly what is building this like mini empire. To be fair, that's what I'll call it. Like
thanks.
it's so dope to see. And in fact, I love that. Slow motion is greater than no motion, because now I'm gonna hit you with, bro, did you set a goal for 2025 to run 1,000 miles?
I did set that
Are
goal,
you
yes.
out of your mind? Like, what? Is that old Warren or is that new Warren? Like, when did that come into your life, bro?
Yeah, so I got into running and, shout out to all my running friends on LinkedIn, call them the Strava homies because if you use Strava or whatever. But I got into running a few years ago and I kind of, dabbled in it. And now obviously I love to run. But last year in June, I set a goal to run maybe 50 miles in
Hmm.
in the
Okay.
month of June, and I ended up running 150 miles in 1 month. Yeah, and so
Damn,
that kind of
bro.
like sparked it. That kind of sparked it off, like, oh, running's really fun. It's something that I love to do now. And then when the new year came around, I was like, 1,000 miles in 2025 will be like a cool goal. And I'm actually I'm really excited because later on in the year, his name's Jesse Itzler. He's like
Mhm.
uh, really well known guy, but he does an event in Georgia called Running Man, and
Okay.
I'm going to that. It's like a weekend thing, but yeah, the mileage thing is just honestly, it's just another way to challenge yourself. And I'll be completely honest with everyone, like I'm actually behind because a goal like this, you obviously
Yeah, you
chalk it
got to
up
set your
into,
pace.
yeah, it's just a little, it's like around like 2.79 miles.
I
Sorry,
love it.
two,
Don't
two
shush
point,
her, man. Bring her in. Are you kidding?
come
Don't
on, dude.
shush her, dude.
Two, 2 point, this is Sophia.
Hey,
Um,
Sophia.
2.79 miles per day. So, but life happens and, like I'm behind. So, but
Yeah.
I think I talked about it, but I kind of love being behind because it kind of
Yeah,
puts you in the underdog status, and so you kind of like lights a fire, in your belly to get after it. But yeah, I'm a little bit behind. That's a goal, and then running a marathon at the end of the year. I've never actually ran a marathon, so that's another one. But
I
yeah,
love
just
that, dude.
trying to set these goals for myself this year and just really push my boundaries. So
That's fire. I'm going to hit you with another Warren quote that I read today. And that is, and this is something that really inspired me is you're chasing progress and not perfection. And I think that you use that quote with respect to one of the running posts that you made. But I think that that just kind of glorifies, and that is, to be fair, what inspired me. So I do this mutual connections cast where it's really just an opportunity to rap with other professionals. Doesn't matter the industry, doesn't matter their title. Just I love rapping with people and trying to learn. And so I created this group page on LinkedIn, but it was like, is the logo right? Do I like the banner or the words? And I swear, dude, when I saw that post from yours, that is progress over perfection, I kind of like just dropped my armor and was like, you know what? Let's just start. And then
yeah.
we can fix it and we can craft and amend later on. And
Mhm.
so I pay that one to you, dude. I
Well,
took my first step. I made the page active, and that's progress as far as I'm concerned. So appreciate you, man. That
dude, no, thank you. And I love to hear that. And I think all of it kind of goes in together, progression over perfection. I mean, because let's be honest, there's no such thing as perfection. There never will be. So
yeah,
trying to, there's nothing wrong with striving towards it, but just know that it's never going to be perfect, and just focusing on the little things. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up because there's been it's a quote on like a post-it note that I used on a post recently. It says something like, just make it exist, and
yeah,
then later you can make it good. And that's something that
that's it.
that's something I actually use for myself, because just about a week ago I launched Dadhood, the community for the
Trust me, we
ambitious.
getting into that. We
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
into
So but
that.
I actually, I don't know if I made the post or not, but maybe I was gonna do that today, but I did something else. Anyways, yeah, I think that's what it was. I was supposed to do it last Monday, and for 2 days I didn't launch
Yeah,
it. For 2
yeah.
days I was like self-doubt, oh, this is maybe not, going back to the old Warren there. And
No, for
so,
sure.
but that post-it note really kind of helped me, because I was just like, dude, like, the first thing you need to do is put something out there, make it actually exist, and then once you cross that threshold, then you can go back and start,
Yeah.
fixing it. I was like, but if you don't make it real, then it doesn't exist.
Dude,
So,
without, I mean, that plight for perfection has kept me from accomplishing so many things that I wanted to, from even beginning things that,
yeah.
like even a new hobby like jujitsu or trying to get back on the soccer field. Like in my
Mhm,
head, that makeup is, gosh, if I'm not in the best shape, if I'm not, totally up to par with how the other guys are out here, I don't want to do it. And so that leap, that progress or progression over perfection, dude, it's honestly being a parent, being a worker in any instance of your life. It's just such a strong mentality to harness.
mhm.
Because you're right, man. You wasted 2 days. Shoot, I felt like I wasted years before I started putting up video content just because I was waiting for it to be perfect. You know what I mean?
Well, yes, and don't get me wrong, I did waste years. I wasted a few days with the community, but I just wasted years in the sense of like I just, like I was saying, I put myself in a box for so long, like I could
Yeah,
have been doing a lot of, other probably cool things, but I just put myself in a box for so long that I was kind of like, just talk myself out of doing stuff like, just stay right there in your lane. This is meant for certain people, and you're not one of those people. And like, that's
yeah,
literally
man.
what I would like tell myself. And now, after doing this whole thing, even just being a weekend, I'm like learning so much about myself. And I'm just like, dude, really, you just need to. to go
Yeah.
for it.
You
Like just
dude,
put
you just
yourself out there.
break through. You just need to break out of the box. Like it's as
Yeah.
simple as that. And
Hmm.
the moment that you break out of the box, it's so funny. Hindsight sucks. But you go,
Yeah.
man, this wasn't so scary after all. Like, wait a minute. Now we're rolling. So,
Right.
and
Hmm.
I love it. Now that is a perfect segue into what I really wanted to pick your brain about. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, I saw a post go up all about the dadhood.
Hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you're linking up with what's his name? Guy, right?
Yes.
He's
Hmm.
one of the other co-founders of the platform.
Yes.
Dude, I am a girl dad, hashtag of two. You are a girl dad, hashtag of three.
Hmm.
What was the inspiration behind creating this empire? You guys just kicked off, but I'm on the Slack. I see some of the comments that the community of different dads are posting, and it's like going back to you being the ultimate hype man. You created this like space of people that just support the crap out of each other. We've all got kind of this like-minded, like, oh, dude, changing diapers sucks. Oh man, cereal bowls that like it. What was the initiative? What was the inspiration to launch that? Because it's early days, but it's already tremendous, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we are so grateful for it because to be honest, we didn't really know, when we did it. It was just kind of like, maybe like 20 people will join, which still would have been cool, It's like, hey, we got a
Yeah,
cool thing going, but it has definitely like exceeded any sort of,
on its
expectations,
own life.
which I'm like super, grateful for and I'm very excited about and like, obviously wanting to continue to pour in a lot of stuff. But I mean, I think for myself, being my oldest is 4, she'll be 5 later on this year. I just and somebody asked me, they were like, well, it's cool, but like, don't you have like, with your family, the support? And I was like, well, of course. I was like, I have an amazing family, thankfully. Like, mom, dad, obviously my wife. Like, I was like, I get all these great support and wisdom from them. I was like, but there's nothing like, I was like, when you talk to another dad, like doing the same kind of things, I was like,
Yeah.
you just get that special perspective. And I think for years since I became a dad, I was kind of like looking for a space like that. And I never could really find one. I know they're out there. It's not like this is the
No,
first,
for
like, oh,
sure.
this is a dad group. You see them on Facebook, but like, I wanted to try to create it and just kind of do it different. I couldn't find one, so I just, we decided like we'll create one, and luckily I was able to come up with a cool name, or at least what I think is a cool name.
It's a
So
cool name, man. It clicked right away. It clicked right
good,
away.
good, but yeah, man,
Um,
and so I think, and the main thing is just a space where I don't want it to be any like guru vibes or
yeah,
anything. I just want it to be real, like real raw, emotional, like, eventually where dads can come and just feel comfortable in a space like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Or like, hey,
yeah.
this is a win for me at home. This is a win for me at work. Like I need some help with work. I need help with this, and just another space where they can come and get something out of it. And what I came up with too, and something that, I credit my wife with is, you win at home and you win in life. Like
Yeah.
if you're
Oh,
winning at home first, then
so
really,
clutch.
really everything else, I believe, will flow from that. And the flip side of that is you could conquer the whole world, cool. But if you're not winning at home, then it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
That's
You go
for
home and it's
most,
just
that's your
right.
why. Like, what
Hmm.
is your home? Is that's your why, man. That's why I'm showing up.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
Dude, you said something so powerful, and I don't know if this was intentional or unintentional just in the inception of dadhood, but all right, so I know it's 2025, we've gotten a little bit more, but the social norm of a male, a father, is rough exterior, don't ask for help, don't, shed that emotional or sensitive side. And so what I'm really getting out of the group and like even if I'm not engaging, just seeing what other people are posting is like, first of all, dang man, I'm not alone. And that
Yeah.
feels dope because it's so hard to, for any parent, moms included, man. It's hard to like be trying to grow professionally and nurture your kids at home and taking care of those rascals. And so, like, I'm so jazzed on what you're doing because I'm not one to ask for help, but now you've kind of just created this mini space where it's like, for instance, dude, my oldest daughter is 6 years old, right?
Mhm.
And she just like she's having trouble at school with the detachment of being around the parents all day, you know?
Yep.
My wife is a school counselor at her school, and so while it's a benefit, I think it's probably also a little bit of a hindrance just because you're not getting that total separation. And so like that space that you created, I just feel so compelled, when I hit a pocket like that to be like, yo, other dads out there, like how can I hype my girl up? I don't know if she doesn't feel confident in herself. I don't know like what the deal is, but she's having this emotional separation challenge. And that's the worst thing in the world for a dad is like, man, how do I help you, dude? I could shower you with comments. I can go and buy you little silly gifts at the store, whatever, but like how do I and so that's one of the biggest takeaways from what I think you're doing, dude. It's so
You know,
heavy.
I love to hear that, man, and I try to check in with, like, every dad that's a part of it, even though it's growing fast, which I love, and we're gonna continue to grow it, but yeah, I try to check in, with every single dad, and we have exciting plans to do different
Yeah.
things, but yeah, like you said, like, seeing being able to go in and see other dads, kind of like open up emotionally,
Vulnerable.
mentally,
Like
yeah, and like that's what I want because like I'm an emotional guy. One of my friends on LinkedIn, his name's Josh Bailey. He does a lot of like video content and stuff, and he recently put out a video and he's like interviewing a girl who's in sales and they always say like, oh, like too emotional, and I like commented on there. I was like, dude, I was like, I'm so emotional, and like i'm a
yeah.
i'm a guy, I'm a dad of three girls, like, and I even like said, because like, the other day or not too long ago, like I just had like a moment, where like I got emotional. I think I like shed a few tears, and like,
Yeah, man.
luckily my
Hell
wife
yeah.
was there to kind of just like in, but I mean, yeah, you're right. 2025, like men need to be okay with like, I mean, holding that stuff in. There's no benefits from that. And yeah, I mean, dadhood, there is an aspect of that of like, hey, come and join us and, you know, like bring us your struggles, bring us your problems, bring us your wins, and we can do this together. It gives you another, it just gives you another outlet. Besides, you have a loving family. I hope,
No, for sure.
everybody does, but it's another area that you can come, and these are all men more than likely who are going through the same things. And what's cool too is I've actually talked to a few who are kind of like the what I call elite level OG dads, because they're dads who they have like kids in their like 30s, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, and somebody was like, yeah, but do you really want to let them in? I was like, absolutely. I was like, because if they
Of
get
course.
involved, I was like, think about all the things that they've seen, they've gone through all the stages. I was like, so if anything, I'd love to talk to them too. And so yeah, man, but it's just every day now is just I wake up to awesome messages on my phone, and I mean it's just such a fulfilling thing. I mean my cup really is like
That's so
overflowing. So
dope, dude. That's
yeah.
so dope. I mean, even me on the network attendance side, and certainly you sitting as chief dad at the head of the table. Um, I think that there's going to be so many unintentional blessings that Big Guns Upstairs puts on your table. Uh, just because, like, what an authentic and genuine space that you've created. It's super
Thank you,
dope,
brother.
dude. It really
Thank you,
is,
man.
bro. I wanna pepper you on one more thing, and then I'll let you go. Is bro, talk to me about ClearCo. I know that's where you're
Yes.
with right now. I know, so I did a little bit of research, obviously, and tell me if I'm wrong. So you're working with e-commerce companies,
Hmm.
and you're helping them with capital funding and essentially just like less liability on the invoicing side. So what is that world like? Is it a SaaS? Is it a service? Like what does sales in that world look like?
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great question because I feel like in the majority of it is. I mean, on LinkedIn, I saw this funny drawing where it was like, the big circle is LinkedIn and then like the SaaS circle is like just like almost as big as LinkedIn. But anyways, it is a different kind of you hear about all the SaaS talk and it is different because you're talking to I mean, a perfect example would be like Dad Game. Some
Yeah.
company doing really well. It has like three dudes running it. And
Hmm.
essentially what we do is we provide working capital for the founders, and they are usually using it for um like inventory
Okay.
purchases or
Yeah. All right.
marketing spend. And there's a few ways. So if you're approved, you get like a capacity limit and you're able to submit those invoices and we pay the suppliers directly.
Sick.
Or they can, if they've spent anything on, marketing inventory, different things in the last, I believe, 60 days, they can
Hmm.
submit like a receipt and we will reimburse
Oh,
the receipt. And so it's a good way for them to essentially grow their business. But we work with a lot of really cool brands, and that's one of the
yeah.
things that I love about the space is you could be talking to an e-commerce founder, and this lady or this guy started this in their home. I mean, even a good example recently, Poppy, that
Mm.
that drink company, they
Yeah.
just were
Yeah.
bought by Pepsi for like over $1 billion. And I think the lady and her husband started making the drinks like in their kitchen or something like that. Obviously, that's a
Wild.
huge example, but yeah, so we get to work with a lot of really cool founders. We've been in the space probably we've been in the space longer than anybody, and I love the e-commerce space, and I've done SaaS stuff too, and even like cybersecurity stuff, and that stuff is cool. Not knocking it, but it's just a more fun conversation. Like we could hypothetically talk to a company like Brixton, even,
Yeah.
if we
Yeah.
got the founder. So like, the conversations are just different than talking to like a CTO at like a huge, company. And
Yeah.
so, shout out to all my SaaS bros and gals out there. But I definitely prefer, the e-commerce fintech space. But yeah, I mean, Clearco. Um, has been great. I've been there a few months and I'm really, really enjoying it. The leadership is great, and yeah, everything is just really great there too. So,
I think that like the messaging and the intent to benefit is really clutch. And there's kind of some synergies. Like I work in debt collection, right? So I work with a lot of creditors or people in that e-commerce space where, man, if that invoice isn't paid on time, like sometimes it creates a real pickle for some of these guys,
oh
especially
yeah,
in the startup space. And so having an outfit like Clearco, where I'm sure Clearco knows, hey, we know the money's coming in, and so we got you. Let me take care of it. If you need a 30-day gap, a 60-day gap, keep working with me, keep communicating, but use our service so that you don't experience a 60-day where you're like, dude, the guy didn't pay the invoice. I can't pay the manufacturer. I can't pay the facility rental. Like, there's just so many different catalysts, especially when you're in that startup space. It's like, dude, if one thing doesn't come in on time, it's just a series of events that happens
yeah,
after. And so you're probably saving their butts by being
yeah.
able to offer that type of service.
You're right. I mean, it's make or break for
Yeah.
some of them. Like it really is. So, and yeah, I mean, and it's been, there's other providers, and there's definitely a use. We know that because a lot of the e-commerce companies that you and I love, more than likely, they're using a product like it,
Yeah.
or they have at some point. And if
Right,
they say
until
that
they
they,
were like, "Hey,
right, and
we
if they
got
say,
this on our
yeah,
own now."
right, and if they say that they don't, then respectfully, they're just kind of doing a
Yeah.
small fib, but they've definitely used it, or they will use it in the future. So yeah, I mean, but I think again, because I'm, such a people person, going back to what I love is, you get to talk to some awesome founders, like somebody who had some great idea, who was probably like working a job, and they were like, man, I really want to start this, like, this hat company, or like do this or do that. And then they just went for it. And then you see them and you're just like, dude, you run a business that's like, $20 million a
Yeah,
year. And
man.
you really see them like living in their purpose. And when you get to talk to people like that, you can just feel that energy like coming off of them, you know?
No, definitely. So I mean, there you have it, man. Not only is Warren the ultimate hype man, but it sounds like Clearco is the ultimate hype man for some of those startups. Like, yo, bro, I got your
Yep.
back. I believe in your mission. Keep
Yep.
growing. And whenever you need me, give me a jingle and I'll step in. And you guys are transferring funds in like what I see, 24 hours. Like, that's bonkers.
Yeah,
So
man.
heck yeah, Warren. Well, shoot, dude. I don't want to take any more of your time. I know we went a little bit over, but
No,
just
I'd love it, dude.
bro, phenomenal meeting you. Um, I'm so excited to continue to engage with your content. I'm going to be one of those key attendees in the dadhood world. And man, we got to have you on again. Maybe have you on the Weekend Warrior show where we get just a bunch of clowns and we kind of all just swap war stories together. But
I
dude,
love
I'm a
that.
super big fan of you. Keep
Thank you.
keep doing what you're doing, bro. That's all I got, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. It's an
Of
honor, really.
course.
It is.
Of course. All right, big guns. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, brother. See you, man.
See you.